Do you know where you are? Do you know where you are?
This is Appetite for Distortion.
Welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion. My name is Brando, episode 59. 59 episodes, and I've appreciated and loved every single one of my guests. And again, before I get into our guest today, I want to say thank you to our last guest, Mr. Jack Lou, one of the sweetest and nicest people I've ever had a chance to speak with. But that may change today because Mr. Tommy Stinson is taking a break from lunch or eating while we're talking. But yes, our guest today is bassist extraordinaire, perhaps one of the most renowned and respected musicians of my era, certainly. Tommy Stinson, how are you today?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you. That's quite a build-up there. I don't know if I can quite take it. I might start quivering.
That's okay. As long as you have a blanket around you, you should be all right.
Yeah, good.
Where are you calling from? Because you're probably used to being cold, I guess. That's my weird segue, because you're from Minnesota, right?
I am, but I live in upstate New York now. I've been living up here for about 10 years.
Okay.
Almost. Yeah. 2 hours north of Manhattan kind of thing.
Okay, so that's going to answer.
Yeah.
That's going to answer the questions as to. Well, of course, we're going to talk about your band's Bash and Pop, the legendary Bash and Pop, who came out with their first first studio record last year. The first one since '93, right? So that's quite a gap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So right on, Sebastian.
Keep it interesting.
Keep them waiting. Keep them wanting more. That's how it works.
Exactly.
So Bash and Pop, an awesome new band, Cowboys and the Campfire, which if I may have the single best Facebook banner ever.
Thank you.
If you remember, is that you in Marilyn Monroe's costume?
That is, that's me and Chip horsing around. We, that would have been from last year's Pride, celebration up here.
Oh, cool.
They have one every summer, and we went and did the walk for the Gay Pride, parade. It was a lot of fun. A bunch of our friends were in it, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's amazing. Absolutely. I didn't know if it was a Halloween or if it was a regular Tuesday, but that's even better. So
you never know. Yeah, you never know.
No judgments anyway, but that's so cool that you support such a great cause and something that, I support as well. Yeah, we're going to talk about the great causes. And of course, some people may know you from your other bands, The Replacements and Guns N' Roses, I guess.
No, maybe so.
Maybe so. But the main reason actually why I reached out to you, it was on your banner for this upcoming event. And see, now I'm not that much of a stalker. I didn't know you lived upstate. So I was going to ask why you're doing the fundraiser there. It's called Safe at Home, a benefit for the Hudson Little League. And it's going to be 2 Saturdays. That's going to be Saturday, May 5th, and also Saturday, May 12th. And I'm from Long Island. Right now I'm broadcasting out of Tribeca. But I used to do radio in the Hudson Valley. I used to do work in Poughkeepsie, 101.5 WPDH. I don't know if...
Nice.
I don't know if...
There you go.
Does that reach you? Because I know you're a little bit further up north, though. Not quite Canada.
I don't know if it reaches up here. I haven't heard, and that's only because I rarely have radio on these days.
Hey, it's all about podcasts now, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
But that's cool, though, because my experience there, really, it's such a beautiful part of New York. When people think of, because we have listeners literally all over the world, I get messages from different countries and all that. But when people think of New York, they think of the city, and not much is spoken about, the Hudson Valley. So if I may ask, when did you said you've been there for a little bit? What made you move there?
I've been coming up here for, I don't know, for over a good year approximately, doing some work with my wife's great uncle, and we were working with him on some art projects that he was, working on. And after coming up here a few times, I just kind of fell for it. And it was reasonably priced housing, and it was a great little neighborhood, really eclectic array of folks, and just decided it was kind of a good place to set up shop.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful part of New York, beautiful part of the country. Maybe not now because the spring is taking its time to arrive. But
I know it's funny how the winter that we're having in the middle of spring. Yikes!
I know, and this all ties in together because, of course, baseball season has started. And a lot of, in Major League Baseball, people are complaining how cold it is, especially for pitchers grabbing the ball and everything. But that's not stopping.
Oh, yeah.
That's not stopping the players. That's not certainly not stopping the little leaguers. So, how did you get involved in something like this? Did you play Little League as a kid? How did this come about?
Well, no, actually, the funny thing is, a friend of mine is on the association, the Little League, association, and he approached me about helping set up some shows because they were really underfunded. And it's one of those things up here. It used to be a real big deal up here. They used to do Little League parades and stuff down Warren Street, and the kids would go out with cans and collect money from people to kind of support their cause.
Sure.
And he approached me about it. I'd seen a few Little League games because my house used to be right sort of on the backside of the Little League field up here, and so my kid and I'd go watch games and stuff like that with some of the kids that she went to school with, and it kind of fell for it. It was kind of like a cute, fun little neighborhood thing. And so when I was approached, by this guy Mike, I kind of thought it was the perfect kind of thing to kind of get myself involved in, and I called some friends up and asked them to come up and play. I knew Alejandro has family up here, so I gave him a call, and three other folks. I just couldn't call them up. It's a good cause. Who can say no to the kids, right?
No, absolutely. Because it is. When I used to be able to play Little League. I mean, this is a short, this isn't about me, but I have a physical disability. But before that really took over, I did play Little League as a kid. All my younger brothers played, and it really is such a community thing, not just for the kids, how to learn to make new friends, maybe that they're not meeting in school, but for the parents, as well. So it seems
absolutely.
it seems like it was bonding between you and your daughter. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, exactly. And it's kind of, it is exactly that reason that I got involved with it. It just seemed like a really good cause. And these days, kids are more inclined to get up and, mess around on their iPods and their computers and their iPhones and that kind of crap. And I'm kind of, thought, this is going to kind of help get some kids away from that a bit, get them out on the field, rubbing elbows with one another. And I think it's a whole lot more healthy for a kid to do that than sitting on their asses playing on their iPad.
I know. And this year, I think, was the 25th anniversary of the movie The Sandlot. And I'm watching that, and I used to do that. I'm only 34, but just going out and playing, whether it's baseball, whether it's hockey. But now you're right. People are just on their phones all the time. And, events like this are so important, especially when, if there are night games, they need a certain amount of money to fund the lights and pay the umpires. And there's so many volunteers involved, people taking their time just like you. So events like this are certainly important. So, again, that's going to be at the Hudson Brewing Company, Saturday, May 5th. I know we have listeners everywhere. So if anything, are you going to be doing more events like this possibly in the future, not just in the Hudson Valley? Or
I think this one's going to be kind of a one-off for me at the moment. I helped the Little Leagues set up their domain and all that stuff so that they got their own website, and just kind of help them as much as I could to kind of get it running a little bit better, and hopefully get some people out to support it. And I think, if they approach me next year, I'd probably do it next year. But I think that's kind of all I'm going to be able to do this year with, with my fundraising and things like that, because I'm going to be busy touring and making a new record and stuff here pretty quick. So, this is my last hurrah.
I got you. Well, you're given not one Saturday, but 2 Saturdays. That's a lot to ask. Those are probably usually gig days for you or travel days.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. So, what is the website so people can check it out? If anything else, it can hopefully inspire other Little League organizations around the country or other countries to do similar fundraisers.
Yeah, I do believe I just set this up the other day. So I do believe it is Hudson, New York Hudson Little League NewYork.com. I believe that's the domain name. I just set this up. I had a couple of different choices. My friend has helped me do the website form and stuff too. So I do think it's Hudson Little League NewYork.com.
Cool. And I know, again, because Saturday, May 5th, which is coming up soon, that is at hudsonbrew.com if you want to check it out. It's going to be Cowboys and the Campfire, Elvis Perkins. There's going to be prizes. There's going to be are you giving away music memorabilia as well, right?
No, I think the second show at Helsinki, we're going to do a silent auction.
Okay.
Donating and things like that. That's what we're going to do with that.
Gotcha. So that's going to be Saturday, May 12th, and that you can check out at HelsinkiHudson.com.
Yeah, there'll be sports memorabilia, music memorabilia, whatever I can scrounge up from people.
Right on. So let's go into a little bit the first day, because that includes Cowboys in the Campfire, and again, one of the best Facebook banners I've seen. How did that band come about? Because that's with you and Chip Roberts.
Yeah, I had been writing and playing with Chip Roberts since I met him, 11 years ago. And he and I had just had this idea. He made the painting that the two Cowboys in the Campfire, and we talked about doing this one day, going out and having a duo and taking it to the streets. And we finally got around to doing it a couple years ago, and we've been having fun ever since. So we get out and do our thing, and in between the Bash and Pop touring and stuff.
That's so cool. And I think you did a show, and I'm still kicking myself, in Brooklyn, not too far away, maybe a month or so ago. I think I was working, so I'm hoping you guys come around again. Oh, yeah, we're going to make a record, and we'll come right back around probably in the summer. So is that the new record you were referring to? Because, again, you're in so many bands. It could be... I'm going to do a Cowboys and Campfire EP, and then I'm probably going to work up another Bash and Pop record all this summer. Right on. So stagger them out a bit, yeah. For someone who's been doing it as long as you have, you can have a band, Bash and Pop, and you can just live off that, and have fun touring. But what is it still the passion in you, when you have the off days to do the Cowboys and the Campfire as well? You just can't stop playing music and just going out there and performing for people? Yeah, it keeps me busy, and I do like doing it. It's it gives me something to do, and both the Bash and Pop guys are in other bands as well, so I kind of got to get them when they're available and not doing their other band stuff. But so the Cowboys and Campfire thing works for me because the other guys in Bash and Pop have other gigs that they do. Their drummer Joe Kidd's in the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, and Steve Selvage is in the Hold Steady. And those guys, they tour sporadically, but when they do, I got to either find other people to play with, or as I've chosen to do Cowboys and the Campfire duo with old Uncle Chip, which it gives me a chance to keep working rather than waiting around for people. Oh, for sure, and also gives you time to do benefits and things of that nature. Well, I guess that's actually combining everything, so I guess that's not really any sort of downtime. But this I found interesting because, again, I'm in radio, and anything that anyone has any history in radio, it just piques my interest even more. Is it true that Bash and Pop, the name was picked from the now defunct New York radio station WDRE? Is that true? It is. My buddy Matt Cord used to be the DJ there, and he came up with the contest for that. So, was it a contest to name your band? What was exactly the contest? Yeah, it was Tommy's new band, because I had the record, I think pretty much in the can at that time, but I just didn't know what to call it, and I didn't want to just have it be Tommy Stinson solo record. It was more of I felt like I wanted to be more of a band thing, because I was, always trying to maintain that more than just having a solo career, That's so cool. Yeah. Yeah. Because DRE used to be WLAR, and, for me from Long Island, that has major history. But now I think it's getting more of a broader audience because now there's a documentary on Showtime. And it's funny, all the 6 degrees of, again, Kevin Bacon, GNR Bacon, or whatever, Tina, who works with you, we have a common friend, Dennis McNamara, who was on WLAR, who's featured in that documentary that has Billy Idol and Debbie Harry. So it's just funny how all these things kind of tie in together. Oh, totally. That's great. Yeah. So with Bash and Pop, because that was the band that you formed after the Replacements broke up, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
So what was your mindset? Because you said you didn't want it to be like solo band. Like, what was your mindset in forming a new band? What did you want to accomplish with that? Because obviously they're still in existence.
I still, I mean, as much as the replacements had, kind of, we had kind of broken up at that point. I still like the idea of being in a band rather than, just having it be Tommy Stinson and a bunch of guys, playing my stuff. I really kind of wanted to maintain that kind of group atmosphere. When I got into making that record with Don Smith, he was kind of like, yeah, you should probably play bass on this because, Kevin, Kevin was not holding it together as good as we would hope. And he also liked my guitar playing stuff on some of the songs. So it got to be kind of what I was hoping to do kind of changed up a little bit as we, made that record. And, even at the end of that process, I still wanted to be a band vibe, and that touring band for that went out for a little while before I had changed it up. And then after touring behind that record with a couple different lineups, I just decided that it was probably best to change band names all over again. And so, just kind of living, trial by error kind of thing, really.
Sure.
Yeah.
So how did that come about as far as you wanting to be in a band and having the group of guys around you instead of your solo, just being solo? Is that something that, came from childhood? Like, if you don't mind me going back to Little Tommy and like how you picked up the first bass and, how did that come about? Is that something you always wanted to do?
Yeah, I did. I mean, and I guess I still have got that same feeling. I made a couple solo records, but ultimately I've always liked the band atmosphere, the camaraderie and all that stuff. I think it makes for more interesting, lively records, and hence, I went back to the Bash and Pop name on this last record because basically it had turned into the thing that I'd hoped the first one had turned into, which was a band effort. I had guys that were in the part of the process of making that record, completely, even more so than the first one. So it just made sense. And I've always just kind of, rather be in a band than have a solo career,
Sure. So what's your approach, I guess, of a band versus solo? As far as songwriting, collaboration, how do you approach, or do you have the same approach to both? And it's just, I guess, whatever the name is the difference.
The funny thing is I don't really have any sort of, traditional approach to any of this. I tend to write alone unless there's someone there. I tend to write with someone that's there if it's a good vibe. And I don't have any kind of, I don't sit down and do it a certain way. It just kind of happens with whatever's in front of me,
Like whenever it strikes you, do you need to be in a certain mindset? Do you like to, do you like to have like a favorite writing spot or like? Yeah,
I don't, and it's always kind of been perplexing. Like stuff comes to me, and as long as I got a place to play my guitar and kind of hash stuff out, it comes when it comes. A lot of times too. A lot of times, if I'm the writing tends to come to me when I'm in my best mood, like if I'm free and clear of paying bills or whatever. I'm kind of just floating, kind of happy-go-lucky kind of thing. That's usually when I pick the guitar up and start really getting into stuff. But
okay,
in a case like today, when it's really dreary out and it's raining again, and spring has not quite sprung, I don't even have a guitar in the room.
Yeah, I can identify with that because there could be people who they want to be in a bad headspace. Maybe that inspires them to write certain kind of lyrics. But no, I'm like you. I don't know. I just want to be surrounded by squirrels and flowers and just. I'm like,
and there ain't a damn squirrel or a flower out right now.
I know. Now maybe this will just mean summer is going to go into December or something. I'm just hoping it's just everything is shifted. I hope that's the case. So what is going on with, because you said Cowboys and the Campfire, you're going to be recording a new EP. So what can we expect from that?
It's kind of a stripped down kind of approach to things. Chip and I do it a duo. I play acoustic and sing. He plays either slide or lap steel. And it's we do a little more instrumentation on top of that just to keep it kind of interesting sounding rather than just two dudes. But, we made an EP in Dallas, or not Dallas, in Austin. We were just down there recently, and a friend of mine was producing it. Christian Smith, who I've known from days of playing with Jesse Mallon years ago. And so we're going to probably put that out, as soon as I can get a hold of those masters and mix it. And I think Fat Possum's going to want to put it out. They seem to indicate that, so that would be a place where that would go. Yeah. And, we'll do that first, and then I'll start working on a Bash and Pop record.
And are the lyrics for Cowboys before Bash and Pop, are the lyrics going to be cowboy related? You're going to be talking about gold mining? Like, what kind of lyrics can we expect?
Not quite that poignant, but
all right. I'm just being silly.
Yeah, no, it'll be, nothing really all that different than I normally do, except it's more stripped down, probably.
Right on. So that's great though with Bash and Pop, because again, I had previously mentioned, the last studio record was '93. I was 12, so I'm sorry to yes. No, I think no, I was 10. I'm sorry, I was 10. I can't even do math. I was born in '83, so I was 10. Even worse.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, and that I remember specifically, because that ties everything together. In 10, when I was 10, I was playing for the Pinstripes, a little league baseball team, and
oh, nice.
Yeah, and it was owned by a baseball card company, and they gave us like cards, and I think I got like a Sammy Sosa rookie card in that, which of course now is worth nothing because he did steroids and everything. So it's great. Right. So you came out with Bash and Pop, Anything Could Happen in 2007, and that's so awesome. We're gonna hear you guys again. So when can we expect that release?
With a little luck, I'll get it done by the fall.
Wow.
I got to round up the guys, get them out to the studio, go to Memphis probably in May and work with Steve Selvage on some stuff. And, hopefully record it this summer.
That's amazing to come out with these two EP and records so quickly. So that means you're really going to be traveling all over. So, I mean, are you even thinking about touring yet, or are you just focusing on the music at the moment?
Stuff kind of comes up, and if good things come up, I'll switch gears and take with a good, if it's a festival or a good show here or there. And as long as everyone's available, I'll take them. Like we're playing, where Brownies used to be in Manhattan.
Yeah.
So they're opening up a new club there. My buddy Jesse Mallon's part of it. It's called Coney Island Baby, and Bash and Pop is going to be playing that opening week that they're open up, and I guess that's going to be the Thursday before the May 12th gig at Helsinki. So it'd be like a warm-up gig for us right there, in the city. But like stuff like that comes up, and it's if everyone's available, we'll take them.
Awesome. I definitely want to go to that. So I'm assuming you're going to announce these on your Facebook and TommyStinson.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's.
I'll get all the particulars out of Jesse here in the next day or so. I'll pop them up there and you'll see what's going on.
Right on. Is everything going to be in the States? I mean, obviously for me, I'm selfish. As long as it's Long Island or New York, it's, for me. But again, we have listeners, and I have a couple questions for you, if you don't mind asking, about people from Spain, people from Sweden. So do you foresee going overseas? Because I know this is a stripped down thing, and that's a lot to travel. But do you foresee?
We've actually been talking. We've been talking with a promoter over in Spain, actually,
cool.
And trying to hook up a England or European run with me and Chip with the Cowboys and Campfire thing. But that stuff, it takes a while to hook it up. But we're open to all that. Like I said, we're already talking to Spain. There's a promoter over that really wants to get us out there. So we'll see.
See, that's
all things possible.
See, that's great. That, if anything else, that's just a lot. This is a lot to look forward to from you, Tommy. That's incredible.
Cool. Well, thank you.
No, thank you. For the great music you continue to provide us. Now, if you don't mind, I have a couple of GNR questions, if you don't mind.
All right.
Well, one, I get a question from Spain. Speaking of Spain, this is from Javier. He just wants to know, is there anything about the unreleased song Going Down?
You know, I was wondering about that the other day myself. I don't really know what's going to happen with that song in the future or not. I'm still in touch with all those guys, and I haven't really seen them since I saw the show last fall. But it's an interesting question, and I don't really have an answer for it. I don't know if they would ever put it out, being that I sang it. But you never know. Axl he comes up with some different ideas about things all on his own.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know as well as you, but I'm just kind of like the typical reporter. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you mind if I ask how you first met Axl?
Yeah. Well, Duff had quit, and my buddy Josh Freese was already playing drums with them. And I happened to be rehearsing, the rehearsal hall when Josh came in for some other band he was working with or whatever, and he had joked about me coming out and trying it out, and they said, now we need a bass player, and, he's kind of making fun of it kind of in a funny way, and I kind of said, I'll try it out. So I actually learned up a few songs and went out there just on a lark. And, they videotaped it and sent it up to Axl, and he was really into it, and, the rest is history. And he came down a couple of days after that. We met, and the idea I thought was pretty punk rock. I mean, and trying to maintain the whole thing without any of the other guys, the original lineup and stuff was kind of ballsy, I thought. And I went in.
Had you seen the original band in any form? Because obviously you were in the replacements and doing your solo stuff. I mean, I know sometimes with musicians it's hard to see other concerts, but had you seen the early days of GNR at all?
No, I never saw any of those shows. I almost probably saw the one when they were opening for Aerosmith, but I think I got there too late for that show to have caught them. But I think they were the opening band on that run that I saw Aerosmith on.
I gotcha. Well, I was lucky enough to see you with the GNR. This was 2002, Madison Square Garden, and that was just that was my first time ever seeing GNR. Was your version of it? So that was just a cool experience, and actually just saw your former bandmate Buckethead at BB King's, which apparently is closing, which is awful.
Oh wow! No kidding.
Yeah, I figure.
I didn't know BB. Didn't know that.
Yeah, it figures as soon as because I'm a New Yorker, it's a shame that I had never been there before. But as soon as, of course, I finally go to a concert there and they're closing, so I assume it's my fault. Clearly.
No, stuff happens everywhere.
No, of course. And another question, if you don't mind, from another listener. This is from Johan in Sweden. If you can, what were you guys doing between 03 and 05? Because I know that era was such a unique era of the band. Like, were you writing, recording, rehearsing, or just chilling, doing your own thing? If you can speak about that.
Yeah, there was all kinds of big breaks, where we would just, go into sort of untouring, unworking mode, and that's when I would kind of do other things on my own, other projects. And I can't imagine exactly what that was in that period of time that I was doing, but usually when we had downtime, I'd be working on other music or producing someone or what have you.
Right on. See, that's my impression of you, because I never got to see the replacements, and I have to, obviously, I got to see Cowboys and the Campfire and Bash and Pop whenever you guys are around, especially since it's so intimate, and I prefer those intimate shows. It's just the glow that you give off on stage. It's such a mix of just like being punk rock, the Sid Vicious attitude, but then you're smiling. You see you're getting along with your bandmates. So that was something I noticed when kind of Duff was coming back with the band, and you were just hugging him on stage and just being so cool about everything. So what was that experience like when he, I guess, was kind of making his way back into the band, and then you were spinning off to do your own thing again, and revitalize Bash and Pop?
When I met with him, well before he was back in the band and all that stuff. We just met together for coffee and just to shoot the breeze. We had some mutual friends. Kind of hooked that up. And, it was in Burbank. We went and met at Starbucks, sat down, and turns out, one of his bands early on had opened the replacement show in Seattle. I didn't know that. We had to chat about it. And had a laugh. And he was always just, very cool to me and a very good guy. Always liked him as a guy and a player. And after meeting him initially, we kind of would once in a while just, throw a text out to each other and, hey, what's going on? How you doing out there? And stuff like that. He's that kind of guy. So, and so it's always been kind of cool to know him.
Awesome. Because you said you're still in touch, and this is leading to your new bands, and because not their most recent leg, but when they first did the Not in This Lifetime, they had such an eclectic array of opening acts. So if you're still in touch with them, do you foresee maybe opening for GNR in the future with whether Bash and Pop, or which would be awesome if you did Cowboys and the Campfire, just you and Chip opening up for Guns N' Roses would be a unique experience, and I think fans would really love to see you on stage and on that kind of platform again.
It would be funny, and I'll be honest with you. I actually threw that out there to him a while ago.
Yeah, okay.
Because I figured, hell, it doesn't hurt to ask, right? We're all still friends. What the hell? But no, I never heard back from that, which is fine. I can totally understand that they're doing their own thing and stuff, and yeah.
Well, you never know. I mean, that's just
anything could happen, right?
That just seems to be the case with you and your career, because you're saying like you'll keep certain names of bands and you're trying to get the right group of guys together and just changing the name. And, of course, GNR is their own story. I mean, I'm doing a podcast about it. I mean, 59 episodes, 58 episodes, whatever it is. I can't even remember at this moment in time. Right. But that's just, again, nothing is everything's left to chance. That's what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, exactly.
You just never know. So that's cool that you still have a cool relationship with them. But obviously, the main focus and the fact that you're putting out not only Cowboys and the Campfire EP, Bash and Pop new record, and you'll be touring and possibly even overseas is just phenomenal. And doing all that while still giving your time to the charity in Little League. And I hope to see you in baseball pants. Will we see you perform in baseball pants?
You never know. I can find a pair that I like that fit me. You just never know.
I got you. And you never played sports as a kid? Not nothing? Like, were you?
I used to play. I played football a little bit when I was a kid. Nothing. Other than just playing with your buddies out in front of school, that kind of thing. But that's kind of what I was into until I picked up bass. Now I'm really into is basketball.
Oh yeah, who's your team?
I'm really into the Sixers right now. I always kind of been into the Sixers now that I think about it.
How'd that come?
Yeah.
How'd that come? How come you're not a Timberwolves fan or not even like a Knicks fan or a Nets fan? How did the Sixers come about?
It's because I've always had friends in Philly, I guess, is probably the real reason for that.
Okay.
Kind of comes with that.
All right, fair enough. I hope you do more events like this, and the fact that you're giving your time. So again, it's going to be Saturday for those in the area. Saturday, May 5th. That's going to be the Hudson Brewing Company, and Saturday, May 12th at Club Helsinki. For people who can't make it, are they able to make donations online?
Yes, they are. I think at the moment you can go to the Hudson Little League Facebook page. I think there's a button in there where you can push and make donations if you should feel like it. And also, like I said before, if you look up for the Hudson Little League NewYork.com website to be open pretty soon here, there'll be a button on there for you to donate to through PayPal.
Oh, amazing. And knowing the GNR fans and obviously just fans of you, I'm sure you'll be getting a lot of donations and helping out a lot of kids stay away from the iPhones and the iPads and actually playing sports. Before I let you go, because you mentioned, because I want to, now that because I have you here, how did you first get into music? Was it your parents? Was it a sibling? Like, how did what was the route that brought you along this path that you're still rocking and doing everything in 2018?
It was my older brother Bob. He showed me how to play bass when he came back from being gone he was gone for a while, got in some trouble as a kid and went to like a boys reform place or whatever for a while. When he came back from that, he had some instruments and he caught me messing around with the bass and he quickly showed me how to play it, and the rest is history.
Any specific bands he turned you on to? Who did you grow up listening to?
whole lot of Johnny Winter and Yes and prog rock stuff like that early on, and mostly a lot of Johnny Winter in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you doing the same thing with your daughter? Are you trying to program her to be a rocker? Or every time she's in the car, do you play your music for her, or does she listen to One Direction or 5 Seconds of Summer?
Yeah, she's got her own thing. She likes a lot of different stuff, but I don't really go down that road. I let the kids figure out where they want to be and how they want to be it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was talking to the comedian Jim Florentine from that metal show, he's like, with his son, he's like, he just puts on metal in the car, and that's just like brainwashing his kid just to love metal. So you just never know. For someone, when the famous become parents, you never know how they're going to treat their young ones. And I'm like that way because I'm the oldest of four boys. Actually, my youngest brother just turned 22 today. And I try as hard as I can, here are the replacements, here's Guns N' Roses, here's Metallica, here's all these bands, but he likes his hip hop. So I don't know. I failed him somewhere, I guess, but I guess that's okay.
Well, everyone's got their own bit, man.
Yeah, no, as long as they're happy and healthy, that's all that matters. So the fact that
exactly.
That's what I got from you. You're always something like such a happy guy, and I guess I can't thank you enough for your time. I was actually, this might have been like the first interview in a while I was kind of nervous for. It's like, oh God, Tommy Stinson, and I got I've been doing radio for 15 years. I don't get nervous that often. I'm like, I'm an awkward, stuttering Jew normally, but that's just me. That's just me. But I got a little more awkward before, so I appreciate you, taking time from your lunch and giving us the time, and hopefully we can help you out. Pay for some more baseballs and light up I think they're the only. What did it say in the press release? It's the only field in Columbia County with field lights, and that's so important, especially in this time when spring is yet to be sprung and it gets still dark really early. You don't want to go inside. You want to play until the wee hours of the night and be able to see what base you're running to.
Exactly. So donate.
Absolutely.
Keep it going.
Anything else? I mean, I can't even think of anything else that you might have on deck other than Cowboys and the Campfire, Bash and Pop. Safe at Home.
You've covered all the bases, my friend.
No pun intended, or no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome, Tommy. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm going to see you out on the road for sure.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. You have a great day.
So there you go, Mr. Tommy Stinson, the extremely busy Tommy Stinson. Thank you for to him for giving me some of his time. He didn't have to do it, but obviously he doesn't have to do the benefit for the Hudson Little League. But he's a good dude, and that's what he does. Hopefully he does more in the future. But obviously in the meantime, we have things we know for a fact to look for in the future, and that's new music from Tommy, and that's certainly, other than helping the kids, the most important thing is the new music that he's putting out from such a legendary musician. So that concludes episode 59 of Appetite for Distortion. Insanity. Also Insanity, which is... Well, I was going to say insanity. That's insane. I think I'm running out of words. I'm still nervous somehow from talking to Tommy. On the way with certain guests, I haven't yet to announce, which is pretty cool. I didn't want to announce Tommy, and it was confirmed yesterday. I try to do this in real time as much as I can. So tomorrow's 420. So that's so today being the 19th. So it was confirmed yesterday. So it was a quick turnarounds, which was just amazing. But as far as upcoming guests that I can now tell you, Jamie Hunting. And that came as a suggestion from mygnrforum.com, which was great. And if you don't know the name, and I didn't, but the more and more I have learned about him, I'm so excited to talk to him. I mean, well, actually, I did talk to him on the phone yesterday. He is from the Outpatients. And if you're not aware, he was a bassist with that band with West Arkeen. That was West's band. And he was really good friends with West. And when we were talking on the phone yesterday, he was telling me, he's like, West died in my house. I found him. I mean, it's going to be... definitely a heavy episode, but it turned into some fun conversations about him telling David Lee Roth to shut the fuck up. It was just hilarious. So Jamie Hunting is going to be in the future. And also something I didn't get to mention, I read one of your comments on iTunes. Thank you for always leaving a review on iTunes. That's going to help more people find us. But somebody suggested getting on Tyler Bryant again, because he was a great episode, and he has even more great stories. I mean, Tommy Stinson has great stories, but he's been around for a while. But someone like Tyler Bryant, who's been around, but he's on the younger side, has great stories that we didn't get to enough. So I had reached out to Tyler after they announced they're going to be opening up for GNR again this summer, and they agreed. Manager said he had a good time. So when the manager says they had a good time, that's great. So hopefully Tyler Bryant, along with some of his bandmates, next time will be a future episode. So that's going to be badass. And as far as the next episode, I know for sure, because Tommy Stinson was a surprise to me, a happy surprise. That's going to be Johnny Kelly from Type O Negative. Can't wait to talk to him. And the Guns N' Roses tie in that is that he plays with Hookers and Blow with Dizzy Reed. So that's going to be amazing. That's going to be episode 60. Oh my goodness, 60 episodes, endless hours of talking about Guns N' Roses and related topics and related people. So that is all thanks to you. So keep helping me out by not only suggesting guests for me with submitting questions, which is always, of course, appreciated and encouraged. If you haven't already, give us a like on Facebook, facebook.com/The AFD Show. Follow us on Twitter @The AFD Show. Follow and subscribe on iTunes, on iHeart, so Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker. I believe those are all. I don't think I'm missing any. Oh, yes. I'm missing perhaps one of the most exciting and important of all, and that's the fact that we're featured on AlternativeNation.net. Thanks. They put up an article about our last episode with Jack Lew. So if you don't have time to listen, Brett from Alternative Nation takes time to transcribe some key parts of our interviews. So I'm looking forward to working with him and continuing working with him. And actually, you could work with him in Alternative Nation. If you want to submit a podcast of your own or have an idea of your own, we are trying to create a new rock podcast network. So if you want to get involved, please hit up AlternativeNation.net, and maybe we'll be working together on a podcast someday. Stranger things have happened, like the fact that I'm interviewing, and I just interviewed Tommy Stinson. That's just, that's pretty crazy. We never would have thought. Unbelievable. So as far as the next episode of the AFD Show is concerned, well, in the words of Axl Rose concerning Chinese democracy, I don't know if soon is the word, but you'll see it.
Lame ass security, I'm going home. Home.